Good, welcome to Heroes of Histaeria, our Sandsea Saga. This is our last pre-recorded session. My name is David. I go by Zenokami on various places on the internet. You will find me here DMing for this fine campaign, or you will find me over at twitch.tv/CommuneDM, where I DM Heroes of Histaeria Unearthed Inheritance. If you've been following this campaign and you're wondering about what happened to Cress, check that out. We have our fantastic players. I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and pitch socials. Otherwise, I'd give it over to Ollie for channel socials.
Just look in the description for mine.
I have no socials.
I forget what mine is.
And I will stay that way.
Find me on Instagram or Insta at I am Nigel P.
So you can see him pick things up and put them down on occasion.
But yeah, do some runs and some swings.
Are you not Yosoi anymore?
No, I changed it.
Yeah.
To get a wider demographic. Yeah.
Marketing, rebrand.
We rebranded.
Yeah, rebranding, exactly.
Well, aside from Nigel, you can find everything else that we do on Twitter at Cryptid Delta, on Mastodon at Delta Cryptid, and on Facebook at Delta Cryptid Productions, on Twitch at Delta Cryptid Productions as well. Basically anywhere, just put those three words together and you'll find this group. I've made sure that no other thing has those three words together.
Internet magic.
So,
oh.
Yeah, and we'll be switching over soon to a live format on Twitch, which will also be dual live streaming through YouTube and whatever else will allow me to do it, with VODs saved on the YouTube, because Twitch only does it for a little bit of time, so fuck that.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. All right, awesome. Okay, friends. Should we do it?
Let's do it.
I've been nervous for a lot of sessions, but I'm particularly nervous for this one.
I think we
All
all
right.
are.
So,
I'm sweating through my
guys.
shirt already.
Change the music.
I keep my house at 60 degrees, so I don't gotta worry about that.
Holy shit.
Why?
Because I don't want to pay for heat.
Because he's friggin' hibernating, guys.
That's true.
Fair. That's right. You're right.
You're
My
right.
bad.
You're not wrong.
You can't
I
judge
have
the only
built
one in
my
our group
physique
that
over
actually
many
has a
years
beard.
of beer and cheese, so that I could be prepared to save money on natural gas.
Smart economic choices.
Exactly.
Every other Sunday morning right here. So, my friends, where last we left off, you guys had just resolved an encounter with Hammond Flintlock. An encounter that seemed to indicate betrayal, treachery, back channels, and shadows. But you were able to, through some close calls, but ultimately level-headedness, we did manage to resolve things. We did find, yes, Lycus did lose an eye in the process, but we came to an interesting agreement when it became apparent that the Frog Grove was under threat. This news delivered to you all by Sirico, the air genasi, who was a captain of an elemental airship. He had come down explaining that he wanted to bring Lycus back to the prophet of the Howling Gale, Inaria Goldeneye. And between Lycus and Hammond, the two of you managed to basically execute him right there as he's at where he stood. And in short order, you commandeered his ship. Hammond taking the girls and Mello upon the vehicle and speeding back towards the Frog Grove. You four jumped onto the airship, and on its decks, you came face to face with none other than Brock Knackle, Him's lost father. Brock was under the indulgence along with the rest of the crew. They were enchanted somehow to work and protect this ship. But through the old-fashioned knock on the head, you guys have managed to bring everybody back around. And you also were reunited with Jackrabbit Smith, a character who was once an ally of Lycus, Edanor, and Luna, back when they first arrived here in the jungle. We're talking zero session stuff. Now, in control of the ship, the 6 of you stand on the deck, and you are looking out towards the horizon. And far off in the distance, you see a small speck. Especially Lycus, with his excellent perception, can just on the edge of the horizon make out something moving over the dried riverbed, heading north towards the frog grove. You'll be upon it shortly, if that is your course. But until such time, the deck is yours, my friends.
I think we should maybe have a sit, discuss our next move before everybody wakes up.
Do we have a scope anywhere on this ship?
I've not had time to search it, so
I
I'm not aware.
believe Lycus has one on his person.
I think I might.
Maybe there is one in the captain's quarters.
Perhaps your father would have a good idea.
Perhaps.
He's right there with you guys. Good idea about what now?
Is there a scope anywhere on this ship?
I imagine so. Let's head into the captain's quarters. Maybe there's something there.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Well, actually, there is a stateroom. We can meet there as well.
Ooh, stateroom.
Do you guys want the tour real quick?
Yeah,
That
please.
would be phenomenal.
Okay. Here we are upon the main deck. Below us is the forecastle. It's
I don't
where...
see anything.
Sorry?
Oh, is it the map?
No, I still have you
map.
guys on the splash page. There's theater in the mind right now.
Gotcha. Never mind.
And yes, below us is the helmsman's room, the individual attuned to working with the air elemental that resides within the ship itself. There's also the gun battery, ropes, and the like, ammunition, gunpowder, those sorts of things.
What kind of guns?
Well, you have these 4 air compressed cannons, and he gestures to these long metallic cannons. You're all familiar with these. You've seen them around. They're a staple on many seafaring vessels, as well as, castles, that sort of thing. These, though, are particularly long, particularly narrow, right? And you see, as you look at it, quick investigation checks, or Luna actually can probably tell with a passive, too. You guys want to roll, or if you want to just take Luna's passive, we can just do that.
Big Luna's passive.
I'm not rolling investigation. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
Oh shit! Yeah, my passive is yeah. It's okay, guys.
What is it now?
23.
I was assuming
23?
16 and higher. How the fuck is it a 23? Are you on your
know.
level 20 version character?
Nope, level 5.
Oh.
Int 23.
That's amazing.
I don't know what to tell you besides the gods have blessed me.
Hashtag
Yeah.
blessed.
Hashtag
blessed.
blessed.
So, Luna, you just kind of quick glance over it, right? You can see there seems to be no area to load a cannonball. It seems like there's no section. You also don't see any ammunition laying around the deck either. So you do clock that. And he says, and you've also got 2 mortars up in the bow here. Pretty much close to where you guys are standing. You see these are more traditional. These look like, your classic almost like a baby cannon, right? That pivots and goes for a pretty high angle. And you can see that this, at least Luna, you can tell at a glance that it clearly would need to be loaded with ammunition.
Well, I'll beg a question. How do these 2 point back towards the longer, narrower cannons? What ammunition do these use? How do you fire it?
Well, these here are the design of, not exactly. It's quite foreign, let's say. This type of design and this type of ship, it comes from, well, I believe the elemental plane of air.
Whoa.
So its design, it uses those elements, and he kind of brings you over and he shows you. You see here there is a long kind of crank that you'd have to pull back on and turn. He shows, do you do this if you can, operate this mechanism several times? The shot inside the cannon will go off, but it will increase in power as each crank can compress more air.
How long can you charge it? Or leave it charged?
Leave it charged? I can't imagine it'll hold very long. I'm sure the air will seep out somehow. So I've never tested it myself, but I do not imagine you can leave it charged. I know you can only charge it up at least the 2 times. Beyond that, I think it probably wouldn't end very well for the person on the other side of the weapon.
What is its degree of, what would you say, a degree of fire? Like how much
Collection and whatnot.
Impression.
Oh yeah, angle.
Yeah, you can.
Angle
You
it
can-
up or down.
Yes, you can probably angle it. You know, you can angle it down. It'll shoot out for a few hundred yards. But you'd have to, line up your shot correctly. You probably wouldn't be
Kim's
able to get
gonna-
90 degrees.
Kim's gonna run over there and just kind of like look at it and try to figure out how it works, and just looking at the inner workings.
Sure. Yeah. So you would say you can't take shots within like 40 feet below you.
40 feet.
Or within 40 feet would be the distance flat that you could get at.
Okay.
Another thing that Luna noticed too is the ship doesn't have any sort of landing gear. There's no like struts or railings or whatever for it to actually sit on the sand. You can imagine if it goes down, it's just gonna tip.
Mm.
So it stays airborne. So yes, you also have that mangonel way back there, and he shows you that catapult-like weapon. He says that I believe there's some boulders in the storage in the battery in the back that you can use to fire that machine, but not too much. The ship, for as agile as it is, and it is particularly agile, doesn't actually hold a lot of weight very well. Its tonnage is fairly low, so we have to be smart about how we prepare.
How much gunpowder do we have available?
Not totally sure offhand, but we can take a look. Brings you towards the bow of the ship. There's a small trap door just near the edge, just near the bow with the mortars. Pulls it up, right? And you can see there's a ladder that leads down. He says, "Why don't you all follow me?" Brings you down. It's a very narrow room. Before, I would say, probably 2 of you can get into that room before the other 2, and maybe 3 if it's Brock and Pim, and maybe 1 other person. But it's a very small space, right? You can see there is looks like a little rack of cannonballs stored here. Looks at a glance to be about 10 of those. And then there's also a wide range of rope, right? A wide array of ropes. There is also another sort of container, a tote, if you will, of wood. And in it, you see 2 kegs of gunpowder.
And this is all of our supplies for that mortar.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
at least we have the air cannons.
That is fair.
And you said there's
then
boulders somewhere?
at the back, there's a stern battery that houses the boulders as well as controls and shaft maintenance for the wheel at the back. Bringing you, and he kind of leads you then down the ladder into that through a door into a very narrow hallway. You imagine on a ship everything's quite small, everything's quite narrow.
Roomy for me.
Pretty roomy for you. As you enter in, there are 2 doors on either side and 1 door at the end of the hallway. It's not long, right? It's only about maybe 15, 20 feet, if that much. He says, this room here, and kind of taps to the one on the left, which would be the ship's starboard side, as you guys are now facing from the bow to the stern. Taps it and goes, this one here is a quarter that I imagine Pim is the closest to the sensor which howls the air elemental. So typically the helmsman will reside here.
So I'm the helmsman now?
That's what your captain named you last time, right?
Indeed. Someone's got to, run the thing.
Cool.
Says and taps another room. This one we just had, and taps a room on the port side of the ship. Because this one we just have for storage at the moment. I'm sure you all can find something creative. It could probably convert it into another crew members' quarters or something if you'd like. Nothing really of interest in there. Just kind of like barrels, crates, the standard fare. Brings you then into another room at the end of the hall. This one actually has, you can see, a magical sigil on the floor. It kind of glows lightly with a soft green. There is several crystals on each of the pieces, each little point of the pentagram. They glow with a small green. Pim, as you enter this chamber, you become aware that there's, again, that presence that you felt when you kind of handled the sensor at the top. Right? He says, this is where the elemental can rest, be interfaced with when he's not working on the ship, typically when the ship is at ease. This is where it resides.
Like the magical elemental spirit that is contained within the ship?
Yes, it's not, as far as I understand, it doesn't possess any sort of real sentience, but it is directed. You can think of it almost as one-man sailing crew.
Do they have a name?
I believe you got it last time.
Yes.
There are also two staircases that lead further down. He says, would you guys like to see the cargo deck, or do you want to finish exploring the main deck?
Is there anything in those crates and barrels in that other room?
No, nothing of importance. Just like standard sailing
food
ship.
and supplies.
There is a pantry. It is not in this area. It's closer to the galley. There's a pantry. He says there's a pantry on the cargo deck, towards the back.
I would like to point out that I think time is of the essence right now. While the rest of the ship will be interesting to explore later, assuming our ship still exists afterwards, I do think we should come up with a plan for what to do about this ship we're about to intercept.
That's
I
good.
concur.
What kind of ship is it? Did you get a good look at it?
It's the same that we dealt with last time.
Oh, nuts. Hate those.
You dealt with something like what are we doing?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was taken prisoner for a while and almost died, I think.
Pim. What?
Yes, Father. We were trying to save the Rangers of the Ironwood, and then this ship came out of nowhere, and we all passed out, and I was in a small glass case for a while. But I'm fine now.
There's a look of utter concern.
Well, these guys helped me and Cress escape. So.
He looks at the group.
Yay!
It seems I'm in your debt, my friends. Thank you for helping my daughter.
Well, your daughter and you, the whole Paminia Knackle. Well, just Knackle folk, I suppose.
That's
Knuckles.
true. That's true. You are quickly becoming a
Knackle
quite a
saviors?
figure. Yes, it seems.
Got one more, and we collect the whole set.
Yeah. I believe that's
So-
called bingo.
Kind of goes. I'm sure there will be time to help Rena. Looks at the group of you, and you can see that there's a sense of interest at the potential of you guys possibly helping him find Rena. But I suppose we have to make it through this first.
Okay. I do have lots of
Yeah.
questions about that, but we'll finish this first.
May we have a room to then discuss what we will be doing in the next
Sure.
50 minutes, an hour.
Here, let's get out. And leads you across the main deck through another doorway into a narrow hall and hangs left. Now you're in kind of the stern starboard quarter of the ship. on the main deck still. You enter this room and you can see there is a long desk, several chairs. It's quite comfortable. It's well furnished. The kind of space where planning and strategizing can take place.
All right.
This'll do.
I sit down and like.
I'll give you guys my crude sketch.
Ooh.
You know, look, making ship maps. I didn't know if the ship was going to survive this session, right? So it's like, do I really want to go through it?
Oh, nice.
So here's your ship.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Can you just draw a stick figure and like the M to represent a bird just to finish this off?
Yeah.
I love it.
So here's your map.
Oh, there is a brig.
You guys know I'm known for my
You
maps.
should at least share this with the viewers.
It'll be shared.
It's on there. It's on there.
Feast your eyes, viewers.
It's
on the
this
artwork.
masterpiece.
So you guys are now up here in the stateroom.
In the stateroom.
Mm.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sit down at like the head of the table and just kind of like put my feet up and like, all right, I have a great idea. Luna, what's the plan?
Everybody looks at Luna. Jackrabbit stands there and goes, I like this. I like the way you're thinking, Captain. Luna?
So, as I'm talking, I'll have put out my equipment bag and my bag of holding. I'm going to be putting the stuff from my bag of holding in the equipment bag. So, as we all know, Pim is the one who's good with motivating the people. Edanor he hits things very hard.
Mhm.
Lycus,
Thank you.
you bring us all together. But I'm the one who thinks. So listen to this plan. Right now, based on our previous experience with this type of ship that we're going against, we know they might have some sort of barrier, which means we're going to need a small crew to get on their ship and somehow sabotage that. How do we do that? We have a keg or two to go along with this small crew. Now, I think it's clear as day that this crew should include Edanor, because he can enter their ships quite easily. And I would put Lycus on this crew as well, because you're very self-sabotage, so you don't mind putting yourself in danger.
I argue with the language, but I agree.
I do not argue with the language.
I think it would be prudent for me to stay behind and provide some sort of protection, as Pim, you're the helmsman. You're the one controlling the ship.
Hi.
So we're going to rely on you to get us as close as possible to drop off our team here.
Well, I've never done it before, but I'm up for the challenge.
And
And
Edanor,
if you mess it up, we all die.
If you mess it up, we all die too.
Fair enough.
both accurate.
So let's not mess up.
Okay, sounds good.
We're going to use the kegs. We're going to tie them together a certain distance in order to maximize our area of damage.
I like it.
See, am I forgetting anything from this plan? Whilst you're doing that, we on the ship will be trying to fire on their ship as much as possible to get you in there more easily.
Good.
Question though. What about any potential prisoners on the enemy ship? We have to get them off before we blow it up.
Well, Edanor has plenty of experience dealing with prisoners, so I believe we can trust his judgment. Edanor?
Of course.
I'll make sure he doesn't kill any of the prisoners.
Thank you. That was
Unless they're
sarcasm on my
bad.
end.
Unless they're a threat.
I'll make sure he doesn't kill any of the prisoners right away. And
Okay.
with the kegs that we have, I imagine I've seen a keg or two explode. I don't think that'll take down the whole ship, but it'll definitely help.
Right. So we can do a targeted attack. If the ship is anything similar to the previous one, we have an idea where the helm station would be.
Yep.
You put those two kegs in that direction, light it, whilst running away. Lycus.
Yep.
Whilst
yep,
running
run
away. It could do. This isn't a one-shot kill, but I think it's a good first. What do they call it in bot? To start off.
You broke up.
Sorry, you froze, yeah.
Damn.
What do they call it in
The
what?
Good
opportune
first
moment.
volley.
They call it
Ambush?
emboxing,
Surprise attack.
but I believe it's called a haymaker.
A haymaker. Oh, yes. Very interesting.
I know how to do that one.
So,
Brock.
what do we think?
Brox looks at you and he goes, "Well, Luna, you've turned into quite the tactician. I like your plan. I do have one thing that I would like to stipulate here and now." And he kind of looks at all of you now as he speaks, and he says, "I'm willing to lend my assistance. I'm even willing to perhaps assist Captain Lycus and Edanor here with getting onto the ship. But I want to make sure that Pym stays on this ship."
Agreed. Pym will be helming this ship. It is not intent for her to board the other one.
And Pym,
Dad.
I want to confirm that there will be no boarding at all.
With all due respect, I'm old enough to make my own decisions now. And if the situation calls for a boarding, I might have to. But if it works out that I can stay on the ship the whole time, then it works out.
Brock, if I may, we may actually want you to stay upon this ship to assist in directing, hopefully, if we can get the other individuals who were your previous crew. If you could almost direct them to continue to fire, this will allow Luna to have a free hand to react as well. So it may be more beneficial to keep you here than have
We also
you
don't know
on the
what
ship with
enemies
us.
will try to board us.
Because I can fly around. I can get in and out, and I can easily carry one person. But once it gets to two, it gets a little difficult. So,
Jackrabbit goes, "I can help with some flying now and then, but I'll admit I can't do much more of that. But I could try." Oh,
So, as long as we stay agile, that's all that really matters. We don't want to get stuck anywhere.
and Brock pauses and goes, one more thing, actually. On the subject of your haymaker, perhaps there is something else that we can consider. Yes, I'll be just a moment. He leaves the room. He's gone for just a bit, but he steps back in. He's carrying what looks like a small chest made of stone, and he sets it down upon the table. You can hear kind of, it's heavy, very heavy. You see the outside of it there are carved runes on the outside of this stone. He kind of slides the top off with a scrape, and inside you see is filled with black sand. He kind of digs through the sand and pulls out a small blue glass orb. Inside you can see lightning kind of dancing. You know those kind of orbs you would see at like like a fortune teller's or something, or like a or haunted
you
house.
put
where
your
it's like-
fingers on it, or whatever.
Yeah, you can. It's doing that, right? And he goes, and he doesn't take it all the way. He kind of quickly buries it again. He says, "That, my friends, is a bomb.
Ooh.
This ship had an additional objective besides finding Captain Lycus here. Its other objectives were to recover, I believe, a weapon that was supposed to be in your possession, as well as to deliver an assault on the enemy of, well, the Prophet and the air elementals. I believe a tribe of Aarakocra. We were supposed to deliver this payload to there and unleash a storm. This is essentially a storm in a bottle."
I'm gonna pull out the map that I got from the headless Sirocco. Are you referring to this? Is this the position you're meant to bomb? Is this
Yes.
the Aarakocra location?
That is Captain Sirocco's objective right there.
What does this
Was.
storm in a bottle do? Is it like a permanent storm, or is it?
Well, when we take it out, there's only a matter of seconds before it actually goes off.
Oh.
Basically shatters into a whirlwind. It will do a fair bit of damage.
Is
I
there
imagine.
Is there a radius to this effect?
Well,
we
it
need
can
to make
certainly.
sure we keep out of.
It was designed to destroy an entire town, so significant radius.
So
Oh.
the thing we're about to go fight, it is in itself a living creature. Did anyone recall a mouth that we could maybe throw this thing inside of?
I got a tour of the
Roll-
ship. Let me think.
I would say Pim and Luna can both roll history checks.
I got average. 10.
Hold on. I might have advantage. Oh, I swear I have advantage on like devices. Oh, twice your proficiency bonus to history checks related to magic items, alchemical objects, or technological devices. No?
Well, what was the roll?
8.
Yeah, you don't remember anything. Luna, what'd you get?
10.
Unfortunately, the two of you do not recall if there was such a thing, but I will give you this. You don't know if there is, let's say, a mouth or anything, but you do remember the events of that day when it struck Frog Grove. That was not that long ago. And you do recall that forces were deployed from the underside of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
However,
Right into the barracks.
They didn't like pour over the top deck. They came out from under somehow.
in terms of bomb placement, I fail to see where on the ship we put it in if it creates a giant whirlwind. You understand?
Yeah, if it can blow up a town, like, should we just throw it over onto their deck, or?
If that's
Well-
what your intent is, then
Shouldn't we keep it somewhere enclosed so as to protect us from it?
It would
If you're
certainly
gonna
give you
take
a
it
lot
with
more
you,
time
yeah.
to escape. As once it does break open, sure, you certainly have the look of an experienced sailor, Captain Lycus, but trying to sail an airship through a whirlwind, that would be something legendary.
what is this black sand?
Maybe we could try to create a little a clockwork device that releases it after a certain number of minutes.
Well, that to Luna's question, and it's certainly possible. This box contains it. So these runes are written in Terran, the language of the elemental of Earth, and it is the only thing that can contain this. If it is removed from this box and from that sand, then it's just a matter of seconds until it detonates.
I feel like
If
these
I
are
had-
throwing.
There's
them.
certainly magic that can tell us how long it will take to detonate, but to give you a precise number. But I do know it's not going to be very long.
And how heavy is this? Edanor, give it a lift.
I lift it up. Can I gauge roughly how much weight?
About
Is
30 pounds.
30
Okay,
pounds?
so it's easy for you.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the size between this? Wait, let me think.
How big is the blast? I think that's something we need to know.
It doesn't have an exact number for that.
I think we have to. We would. If
It's
we
big
use
and
this,
it's a storm in a jar, so it would be significant.
So that's why, like, you don't want to just throw it down a hallway like a grenade. You want to just be off the ship.
Probably don't want to throw it down a hallway like a grenade now.
You want to be off the ship and like throw it somewhere on the ship.
I
And
say we
also
start
run
with
away.
the kegs and then see if we can save anyone who's on the ship first before we detonate a go fuck yourself blast.
Yeah. That's the deal that we agreed on. Save
big is
people if
this?
you can.
how big is this box?
The box, it's about like a
Can it fit?
shoebox.
Can it fit in a keg?
Can it fit in a keg?
That's one.
Let's see. Well, so it can definitely fit in a barrel. Can it fit in a keg? I would say it would be a close fit. It would take a check. We'll say that.
That's a
With
risky
a good
check.
check, with
Why
a
would
good
we
check,
put it in a
it
keg?
can fit in the keg.
Well, I'm thinking if we could fit it in a keg, it depends on how durable this box is. Because if we can cause the kegs to explode, perhaps the box itself gets damaged and then it activates anyways.
Oh.
And that could give us some time from a distance because blowing up a keg, Edanor has his multiple guns. I
Yes.
believe we can find something for Lycus to throw at it. Torch, Molotov.
You can just light a row of gunpowder from far away and light it at the end of the
which
That
is a
requires
little
us setting
difficult.
that up
trail.
in the fight.
Okay.
I don't know.
Guns work too.
Is there, when we were looking in there, is there like long
Um,
fuses in the storeroom? When you said there
Like
was ropes and
wicks.
stuff like that.
Yeah, there's ropes and stuff. I mean, you could probably fashion something, I'd say. Again, with a good check, I'd totally allow it.
Okay.
Luna, with your passive investigation, stone, like the one that the thing is housed in, it has an AC of 17.
Oh, so the box is made of stone.
The box itself is made of stone. The box itself is made of stone with runic carvings on it.
So how would you rule a keg is like 7d6?
I would say, yeah, if it's can the keg set it off? I would give it a 50% chance. I would say we can flip a coin or roll a d6. It comes up
Would
right.
it be
comes up
weaker
right.
if you take the top off of it?
It would.
The time?
I would say that what that would do would maybe just pad some of the seconds to detonation on the thing. I'd say give you a little extra time.
Well, how long would it take to construct a little clockwork device that like tips the chest over after 3 minutes or something?
I believe you have a racial ability that gives us something like that, doesn't it?
Because I've got some
Yeah, you got a thing.
efficiency and
I would say with Luna, you and your dad working at it, with good rolls, I would let you make something that you can use before, but it would basically take up your short rest here. You'd have to be working on it.
we can work and talk.
Yeah, the three
I'm
of you
just
can
gonna
work and
start.
talk.
I'm just gonna start trying to do that.
I do believe
So I
I
take
would
out
like-
my tinker's tools on the table and I lay out any materials that I have, and I'm just trying to figure something out.
You just see.
I do need to find out what this cloak
And
does.
you can use them. So you have a thing here that says you can use you're proficient with tinker's tools, and you can use them to construct tiny clockwork devices. I would say this is a tiny clockwork device. It
So what
obviously
I'm
doesn't
can I
give any
describe what I'm
rules.
imagining?
Sure.
I'm imagining tipping the chest, keeping the chest closed, but tipping it on its side, and then a little clockwork device to like push the lid open, so
then
that
it
all the little balls
falls
fall
out?
out. So that's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
And then we just have to place it.
That's mechanically not too intense. I would say a DC. Let's call it. Let's see for crafting. Arcana, because I think we've used tech for that before.
Perfect. I have advantage on that too.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. So Arcana check. We'll say DC 15.
15. I can do that.
But we'll do this over the course of your short rest, and because again.
Okay, I'll do it at the end then.
Yeah, because again, your Luna can probably assist you if she's available. Otherwise,
I already
Brock.
have advantage,
Oh, that's true. You can only get so much advantage. That's fair.
but you guys should definitely still help.
I'll state as a plan B. We can always fashion a rope to the bottom of it, and you pull it. Perhaps that tips it over, because that's really just the main objective. To
Yeah, but I think you want to be like really far away when this goes off.
Yeah, we want to get out.
You want
you
to
have
be
like.
gone.
So then I would
Have
say
you
you
seen
can
any
focus
of
on.
it go off, Dad? Have you seen
No.
this? No.
No, I did see the creation of it, but I did not see it go off. It was created by Goliath,
Okay.
who was dancing in a storm.
Was she hot?
Yeah, He looks over at Pim, looks
Dad.
over at you, and winks.
Ew,
Oh, I'm familiar with her.
I'm telling Mom.
For some reason, I believe your mother has other things that she's going to have to explain to Brock after.
Yeah.
He looks
So
at
only-
you. Excuse me? Now I'm concerned.
Guys,
Well, I
can we-
mean, the fact that you guys are on other sides of conflict. That's what I was meaning.
That's...
Okay, let's hold on. Would you mind giving the room to my dad and I for a few minutes?
Yeah,
Of course.
I think our planning is more or less done. Why don't we disperse for a little while? Before we fight, how about we gather everybody on deck before things go? Make sure they know who we are before we lead them into their deaths.
To that
We
point,
have
they
to
are
learn
all
who they are too.
they're all still unconscious.
Oh, him will take
maybe you
care of
guys
that.
can go wake them up.
I think the nicest person shall wake them up. When you get the chance, maybe you should do that. If the first thing they see is me, Edanor, and Luna, they might decide to just leave.
Oh, these poor creatures just gonna wake up from the worst nightmare of their lives and enter a new one.
Sounds like Tuesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
par
Yes.
for the course. Okay,
So in the meantime, then I'll quickly find like a 10 feet of rope, tie 2 kegs, put it in the bag of holding, and then
Could you add a fuse as well?
if I could find a fuse.
Like a long
Yeah.
fuse that can like. So.
We could soak some rope in alcohol and make that more ignitable.
And okay, then I'll just quickly I'll give the bag of holding to Edanor so he has that, and then I'm going on main deck on the bow, which is the front. I know my ship stuff. And then I'll take out the pearl I have in my component pouch and the cloak I have, just because out of curiosity, and I'll cast Identify.
Okay.
Just to summarize what I'm gonna do.
Let me get a sleight of hand check for the tying the kegs together.
Want me to try to take eggs for you?
I'm assuming you have a better than a +4.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Lycus, go ahead and sleight of hand.
19.
15. All right, fuse. Arcana check for the fuse. Who's going to place the fuse in?
Oh, I think if it's Arcana, I'll do it. I'll ask Lycus, do you have any recommendation where to put the wick to get the maximum usage out of it?
You trying to get advantage from him?
Hells yeah.
No. Unfortunately, this is on you, Luna.
Don't mess up.
This is the dice
Everybody
from
has their
Commune?
job.
Yep. I look at it and go, the middle.
Oh, nice. Rolled a 17 plus Arcana, so 3 and 5, 25. That wick is situated in tight.
Yep. That wick is set. Wick is set. Kegs are bound. Okay. All right. And you cast Identify on the cloak. And what else?
I think this is just the cloak I'll need to cast Identify on.
Okay. There's another magical item that I think I gave it to Lycus, but hasn't formally been identified, the eye patch. But at the end of his short rest, it would have attuned to you. So
Right now it just looks hot.
right now it just looks hot, and there's like a tingling feeling because it's magical. The cloak, though, you do identify the cloak. It is a fairly simple item. It is nothing uncommon other than a cloak of billowing.
Fucking knew it. So I know what it is then. At that point,
Yeah.
realizing that
You know that it's a cloak of.
I think
you know
the
it's a
cloak
cloak
of
of billowing.
all it does is make like a stylish effect.
Yeah.
All
Pretty
right.
much.
I
What
throw it
a
over the ship.
fancy.
You throw it over the ship.
Yeah.
Dude,
Useless.
Hang on.
Wait. Can
we
you
can
repeat
sell
that?
stuff.
I mean, okay.
It could also
throw,
look cooler.
It was
you throw
so.
a cloak of billowing. Luna threw it over the ship.
Oh, you!
It billows as on its way down.
I love the cloak of
We need
billowing.
useless.
I will
we
say,
need
I will
useful
say
stuff,
this.
guys.
Tell you what, Max, Hannah just gave me a good idea. It is like fluttering on
Can
the
I
way down.
see it and then can I decide to go get it?
How will you go get it? How will you retrieve
You're
it?
gonna waste your wings on that?
I'll waste one of my wings to get this fucking cloak
Dude.
if I have to.
You can go
Bad
back for
idea.
it.
So it's worth it.
So
Guys,
the normal wings, the
Conserve your
Azamar wings.
resources.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely.
Hey,
Edanor,
this
I'm
isn't
gonna
on
kill you.
me.
I'm going to stab you in your sleep.
So Edanor, you watch as Luna kind of, flares that cloak. Looks at it with the pearl.
Yeah.
Tosses it over the side. It catches in the breeze. And I should mention, on the deck of the ship, you guys are moving pretty fast, and
I was just gonna say, I would love to see Edanor catch up with us. So
Well,
let's
I just
proceed.
want to be able to try like react and catch it, while having
So Edanor, this is gonna be
tough.
This is gonna be risky because he's right. You're moving. The ship is moving, right?
Yep.
So the way I can see this going out, the only way I really see this going out, is you are near Luna, and you are jumping out to get it, right? And your best bet is to try to get back on the ship before it fully passes you.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So from the bow, reattaching on the stern.
Yep.
Okay.
It's also a big risk because you don't know what cloak it is. You just know it's a cloak.
Yep. I don't care.
Okay.
I bet
So you can
It
expend
was a
your wings to
magic.
do
We
this.
did know it was a magical object.
You can expend your wings to do this.
Fashionista.
Yeah, I'm not expending my divine one.
No,
The
not your divine wings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
This is just your
expending the other
Azamar.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
That aren't as useful anyways.
So those wings pop, and I need here, we'll call this acrobatics or athletics, your choice on that.
A horse apiece. It'll be. I'll do.
Max always rolls nat 20s.
acrobatics.
We're good.
Well, it was a 15 plus 2, so 17. It wasn't a
17.
nat 20
Not,
this
not,
time.
not nat 20, but 17 is really good still. Yeah, 17 makes it. You're able to, you see the cloak kind of jump, fluttering in the wind, right? Jump out, bounding off the railings, mid-air, grab it, pop the wings, and kick back. And you're
The
able
firebolt
to kind
comes in and blows it. Just joking.
We're gonna have one less crew member very soon.
well, we almost did. But yeah, you're able to make it back on. You're further down the ship, right? You're closer to the stern for sure, but you're able to make it back on the ship with the cloak of billowing.
Good. And I'm gonna see that it's fluttering. Go look at it. What does it look like? Just like colors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it was like a dark navy blue, something. Description. It's a midnight blue with like these dark green tassels that kind of bind and cinch, and then there's a deep hood that kind of hangs over
Perfect.
as well.
I love that. Okay, yeah. Then I'm going to look at that, put that on, see that it's just billowing naturally.
Yep. You can add a cloak of billowing to your inventory.
Just a soft,
Totally
natural billow.
worth it. Freaking worth it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Watching this whole thing happen.
Okay.
So now that you're done fucking around, you want to have a little chat?
Yeah, Lycus is following Edanor to have a chat, and then also it doesn't require attunement too, so that's pretty nice. But you can go ahead, add a cloak of billowing to your inventory.
Okay. I will add it, and I can attune later.
Doesn't require it.
Oh, it doesn't require. Okay, cool.
Nope, no attunement necessary.
Oh, that's even better.
To be leaning on the stern. No. Wow, fuck. I already messed that up. Stern's the front.
You messed up a lot of things
Front.
right there. So.
Stern's the back, the bow. The bow. I'm just like leaning over the bow, just looking straight ahead.
I will go on.
We'll come back to you in a
Somebody
second.
comes up behind you and holds you up like
Jackrabbit is behind you.
Yeah.
Because he's Jack. Get
You
it?
just feel two
Yeah.
fuzzy paws at your hips.
It doesn't say well for his future though.
Okay, let's do Lycus and Edanor, and then Hannah. We'll do a pivot rock in the state.
So bringing you into the captain's cabin, you'll see that it's already a mess, and it clearly wasn't moments before. He has ramshackled this place looking for everything. Like you see all the clothes that this guy's had. It's just like strewn across the floor.
It's some pretty nice stuff too. Like, it's definitely like genteel fashion.
For diamond dust.
Does he have like since we're gonna do some blowing up stuff, does he happen to have like a rope light or anything like that? You know, those little things that like light lanterns or stuff, whatever.
Let's see. Yes, he does.
Sweet. Just gonna slap that into my
Life
pocket.
work that way. Do I have $1 million?
Right?
Let me roll this d6. Yes.
So Edanor, I was thinking it was about time we had a little chat.
Oh. And how may I assist you? As I'm looking pretty dapper in my new cloak.
Looking pretty good. He
you.
takes off his cloak and like just starts rummaging around through or his coat and starts rummaging around to like the other clothes. And you actually see for a moment that like he doesn't stop moving a lot when you guys are hanging out, but like this is about as chill as he's been, other than like sleeping. And now that he's taken everything off aside from his pants, like you see he's always had a lot of scars, but on his back he has probably the deepest scars. He has a brand in his left shoulder that has been sort of slashed through at this point. And he just, while still looking, he's like, well, I was hoping to talk because, well, my friend, damn it, why do you put so much faith in the gods? I guess is my first question.
Well, while the gods may be flawed, most do look out for the best interest of their adherents and others. There is definitely I guess you could say, reason they're there. They're there to provide hope, security, assistance to those who need them. And without that, I feel like it'd be difficult for many to find their path and meaning in life.
Then why don't you have the same faith in people? You seem to think that everyone is so unchangeable. The goblins, you don't want to help them, you want to end them. And I'm having a hard time with this myself.
Yes. Well, is another thing that happens to be like everything is a cycle. So I do not believe that most things can change so drastically. Which is a personal belief. Not even all the gods would agree with my views on it. And the thing is a lot of times we don't have the time to wait for people to change in our current situation. If it was a more peaceful time, we wouldn't have to make the tougher choices. And if you noticed, I haven't exactly been wrong in those assumptions, have I? We were going to be betrayed by Talk and the goblins. We've been betrayed at numerous points. And some of it is possibly a little self-inflicted. But at the same time, we have an overarching mission. We have, the goal is it not to save the world? So sometimes there are some tough choices and sacrifices and unsavory things that must be done so that in the future somebody might be able to splash in a pond, be able to see the sun rise and set, to be able to have a bit of normalcy. So if I have to mitigate risk and do what I can to save those who I care about, while also trying to save the world, I will do whatever is necessary. However, I don't necessarily enjoy what I must do, but it must be done.
Well, that makes sense, but if you ask me, it sounds kind of stupid. You don't
That's
enjoy
fair.
what you have to do, then don't do it. You want to do something different, then do it differently. What's the point of saving the world if we're just going to save it to be something average at best? If we're going to save it, if we're going to go through that hardship, let's make it harder and make it perfect. I don't want the goblins to be taken down. I want to save them because some of them deserve it. They've only lived under the shadow of their god, who teaches them that they are only worthy as objects. And they
Life
treat
is
others the
messy.
same way.
Life is very messy.
So let's make it messier.
That's just exactly the opposite of what you're saying.
No, it's not.
You're creating
When
this
people
image that is going to be, oh, we can save everyone, we can do all of this, but this is not the case.
I don't think it is the case. You're right, but what's the point of doing anything this hard if we're not going to try to make it the best? The more people
I'm
are
not
free, the messier
saying-
things will be, and that's
Yes.
fine. It's better that way.
Well, and I don't disagree that mess is fine in this case. But what I do disagree is taking on unnecessary risk that is going to jeopardize the overall goal and mission. We must make tough choices sometimes. That is why I've made some of the decisions I've had to make. And if we are going to move forward, and if we are going to try and help other people, then sometimes we're going to have to make a choice that's unsavory at one point, because overarching it's going to help more people. If you want to save all these slaves, and that's what I believe you want to do, I agree with that. We want to save them. But there are going to be obstacles, and we must remove said obstacles.
I agree. I'm just
And-
asking that we give
yes.
everyone a chance first.
To a point, I agree, but sometimes we won't have a chance to let somebody prove us wrong. Doing that has almost risked the Frog Grove. Is giving someone who has done evil deeds a chance worth sacrificing those that are good, that have no reason to be in that position. If the entire Frog Grove was slaughtered because we decided to give some goblins a chance to prove us wrong, and then they don't prove us wrong, they actually prove us right, and they signal their fleet to come in to murder and capture those that you love, is that truly worth it, that chance? I think it's more important to give those who are worthy of the chance that chance first and foremost. They should come first. If we have the opportunity to give them a chance without risking others, go for it. But we have to take the responsibility in this case, and it's not easy. None of this is easy. Being a leader and a captain is a tough thing. I admire you for just striving for it, but there are going to be tough choices, and we have to focus on those who deserve our focus first. It's like a tiered system. The family and those you care about, and your enemies, if you want to show them mercy and do that, yes. But if there's a risk to those who shouldn't be put at risk, why do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's irresponsible, in my opinion.
I see where you're coming from. And I'm always going to do my best to save the Frog Grove because they've helped me immeasurably. But I'm not going to stop trying to give someone a chance, even if it is dangerous.
I understand that. But this is why I'm here to assist and help guide as well. Because there's going to be moments where, because your innate character, as we have learned, is to give people a shot and give them a chance. But there are going to be times where I'm probably going to have to step in and say, let us think twice about this, because others are going to be impacted by these choices. And there isn't a overarching structure of society anymore to help protect those. So we have to make some of those choices that we didn't have to prior to this apocalyptic nightmare we live in now. I only ask that you listen to me, and sometimes I may take action. Like I've had to take action in the past if I feel that some risks are undue. Because we also have the girls to think about, we have a crew to think about. And we have to be smart. And I do not always choose the smart option. I sometimes am a little too emotional myself and react poorly.
Yes, that's why we have
I must improve as well.
smart action.
But we have to be more selective when we give certain individuals chances, especially those that have already proven to be our enemy. And we always be careful about what we say, what our words come out as, because things can be misconstrued, as we saw with Hammond. And I am very upset at the betrayal that we have suffered, but Hammond made a choice to protect Hammond's crew and what Hammond thought was best. And I will make that personal choice to protect our crew, which I consider a family, and those who I care about. And if I have to, I will do what is necessary.
I'm very happy to hear that. With people like yourself, people who are so devoted, it's hard to find people like yourself who are able to devote themselves to us as well. It's unfortunate. I just have one other thing I want to really ask you.
Of course.
What do you want?
What do I want? Well, as I stated a bit earlier, I guess I want to restore this world, restore balance, honestly restore the Pantheon, which I believe has been broken by this monarch.
I can get behind that. I mean, think about it. The gods being saved by a lowly pirate who doesn't give a shit about them? What's more fun than that?
Does sound quite poetic.
And I want to save the world for the mortals. I want to save as many of the goblins that are willing to listen as I can and help everyone be a little bit more free. I think together we'll find a right balance.
Yes, just be aware, not all of them necessarily want saving. Some of these goblins are very dedicated to their own gods.
Yeah.
And while I do admire their fervent beliefs, they're wrong, I mean, very wrong, but, because, I mean, I'm right.
Of course you are.
Yes, I know I'm right. I mean, I've been there, done that. Anyways, but there is chance they won't be convinced, and we'll have to dispatch them. So just be aware, not all will take this mission kindly.
I didn't think they would. That's fine. And he's gonna hold his hand out for a handshake.
And I will shake it.
In this moment, he's gonna do something. He's like, "Hey, that's something I've been wanting to try." And he grips your hand tighter and kind of pulls you in a little bit. And he's gonna summon his aura, his soul things. And you see all three of them: the little boy, you see the wolf, and the hyper captainized version of Lycus. And he's like, "Now don't move too much." And they jump into you.
God.
And you feel the wolf goes in first, and you feel just immeasurable hate and bloodlust, and the captain goes in, and you're like, you get this tinge of like ambitious mischief. You just want to fuck shit up because it's fun, and the little one goes into you, and you feel a bit of like not unnecessary, but a little bit of like that rampant hope that a child has. You don't know what the future holds, and it could be anything. And it pops your wings out from behind you, but something else starts to come out too for a moment. What does your soul look like, dude?
All right. So.
Wait, one second.
Yes.
David, is this acceptable?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind. That sounds pretty cool.
So,
I'm just writing it down.
So the soul that you see pop out, and it's actually like, it looks very tall and imposing, and you see this large robed and kind of cloaked figure, and you can't quite see their face. And in one hand there is looks like a divine censer, and in the other hand there's a set of scales. And at this moment, and even on the scale, one says innocence, the other says guilt. And right now, it is definitely weighted towards guilt. And you see a swirl of radiant light energy behind, intermixed with very dark black energy. So it's very much a lot of good, but there's a lot of darkness as well. And then, so this big imposing figure that just looks beautiful yet terrible, all in the same, almost terrifying in its nature, kind of representing justice and all these other kind of heavy, intense feelings. And then below, you see, almost shrouded within it, a child reading a book under a tree. So more of like a piece of maybe a hope of what can be. So irradiating out.
So yeah, as this is happening, you feel like a bit of strength in you. Like you feel that bit of temporary HP for like a second, and then it just disappears as it sparks and falls apart. It's like, well, that almost worked. I'm almost there.
Almost. What was that? I don't like surprises, Lycus.
Oh, come on, it was fun. You saw that thing, didn't you? That was pretty cool. I figured since I can make my soul do things, I could help you guys make your souls do stuff and take care of, protect you too. Didn't work yet. And just joy. I know, like, we're about to go to war, but like, he's excited.
Fair enough. Well, if you don't mind, I must. One, I want to take a look and see if I could change out some clothing. I mean, aside from the robe. Then I will be excusing myself for a moment to say some prayers myself.
All right.
So,
see you in a bit.
yes, and I'm gonna just look out around the room, see if they find some nice clothes to be able to have like under my armor, and then have like a set of like casual clothes when I'm not wearing it.
Yeah,
for one day.
say-
Like it's
say
hopeful
so.
thinking, to ever not be wearing it.
You
Yeah,
can
we're rating
you can
these guys.
find some good clothes, Edanor, and he was a tall guy. He could, you fit
Mhm.
just fine.
Okay, so I'll just find some clothes that kind of fit my aesthetic. I assume he has an extensive closet.
Yeah. He's got an
And-
extensive closet. You can find some stuff for sure.
Yeah, and then I will step away to like go offer some prayers to Tazrin.
Okay, we'll check in with you in a
Privately.
second here.
Mhm.
All right. Let's do Brock and Pim in the stateroom. This conversation happens while the other conversation is going on. So it's you and your father. As the two of you have been left, everybody is just departed. The door is shut behind. And Brock goes, "Is everything all right, dear?" You're muted.
I mean, yes and no. I'm a little confused. about some things. Here, let's start working on this while we're talking. And I start creating the little detonator thing.
Okay. Now go ahead and roll your Arcana check. And Brock, while you're working on it, is also, just kind of watching, and occasionally you'll just kind of, prod a finger in and maybe, just kind of not interrupt you or anything. But if it ever looks like you need a third hand, one is present. I will adjust the DC a little bit.
That poker face.
It's only a 14.
Okay. And that was with advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys continue to work on it. All right. We'll see what a 14 gets us.
I'll have Luna take a look at it
To review
before
it.
we're done. Then we can
This
maybe
is-
make some adjustments.
This is like the release latch on it.
Yeah. It's like a little release latch. So I'm imagining like something you can shove in between the lid and the box, and
Yeah,
then
it goes.
some gears that like slowly tick 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 tick, and then it busts open.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the timer that you were looking to set it for?
What do we want? A minute? 2 minutes?
This is just you. No one else is here.
What do you think, Dad?
Well, you know your friends better than I do, darling. What would
I mean, they can
What do you
move
think?
around pretty quickly. I think a minute's probably good.
minute? It's fine. Keep in mind, a lot can happen in a minute.
I know. So she's kind of got her face in the thing with her tools, kind of like avoiding eye contact a little bit. She's a little uncomfortable confronting her dad, but she's gonna do it. So why didn't you come back to Zeladil?
First, I'm sorry. I didn't. The truth is, things got complicated as your mother and I were preparing. We ended up disagreeing about some things. We ended up coming to a moment where I can't believe I'm going to say this. Just couldn't trust each other. And I realized that I couldn't return to Zeladil. And I couldn't let your mother return to Zeladil, so I made arrangements with Captain Shadin. I tried to get you out of there so that we would meet up in the Ironwood. Did not expect to find you here, that's for certain. But the bottom line is things got complicated, Pam. I wanted to be there. I really, really did, but
Okay, well, enlighten me. What did you disagree on, and why couldn't you trust each other?
Pam, there are things about our family that I just don't know if we're ready to talk about yet. I want I'd like your mother to be here so she can say her side of things. It's just not fair.
I'm not a
you know?
kid anymore, Dad. She kind of like hurts her, like cuts her thumb on a thing as she says that. Damn it.
Roll a persuasion check.
— 17.
17. 17's good. I also really like the flavor of the thumb cutting thing, so. Okay. You're right. You're not a kid. The world's gone to shit. And let's face it, you found me, right? It's supposed to be the other way around, but reality is what reality is. You know your mother's... Well, your mother and I come from different worlds. Your mother's family, your grandparents and, well, the rest of that whole brood, they hold certain beliefs that I think could have always been problematic. And your mother, to her credit, has always agreed with me, until recent events. You see, your mother's family, they belong to an organization called the Inheritors of the First World. And what they believe is that the world was, well, originally created by dragons, and that dragons are the ones who should be in charge, like they were millennia ago. Your mother and I disagreed. Yeah, well, your mother and I agreed that it didn't make sense. The dragons are long gone, and that there was no point wishing and, essentially operating and making life difficult for others with these archaic beliefs. That was until we found Dragon.
Verania?
That wasn't. Yes. Well, Verania wasn't a dragon yet, but Verania represented to your mother the potential for dragons to return. And when the monarch began its invasion, she was further convinced that dragons and their leadership could be exactly what the world needed to defend itself. So she sided with Verania. She sided with Verania to restore the empire of the dragons, of dragonkind.
Doesn't
Now-
she care about all the people that would suffer if that were to happen?
I really can't tell you what your mother thinks at this point. This is why we are where we are.
Well, I spoke with Verania.
You what?
I spoke with Verania.
What did she say?
Well, she hates you.
More of a point of pride than you might think.
She seems to have a certain amount of respect for Mom. So that makes sense now.
Yes. Well, your mother's a respectable woman. When she's not, trying to restore the greatest tyrants the world has ever known.
So, okay. At what point did you part ways?
Well, now we get into the question of what I was really doing a lot of, what your mother and I were doing before we found Verania. We knew the Inheritors had planned to bring dragons back into the world. If they could find a way to do it, they would. And again, your mother and I believed originally that was not a great idea. So we'd done extensive research, and I realized that the key to unlocking dragons and to restoring their power resided in these, we call them aspects. Verania is one such aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Incarnations of draconic souls. Now, these souls, they show the barest detail that this individual is such a creature. They usually possess some sort of marking. Verania, for example, possessed a black mask on her face. Now, when these individuals come in contact with a very specific item that awakens their souls, then they can attain their draconic powers. So, well, me being me, I figured out what items they needed. And I think I know where the others are. Information that was very valuable to not only your mother and Verania, but also the other organizations looking to restore dragons. The Cult of Tiamat, for example, would love to know how to restore dragons, as with the rest of the Inheritors. So, that possessing that knowledge is why I ran away, because I feel like I'm the key that they need.
That makes a lot of sense. So what are the items?
Well, if I told you, you would be the key too, and your life would be in danger, my love.
Well, can you just tell me what they are, but not where they are?
Nope, I'm afraid. I'm still your father at the end of the day, and there are certain things that, while you've impressed me immensely, dear, I cannot put you in that danger. I can imagine the things that Varanya said about me. I can imagine the things your mother said about me. Is your mother with Varanya?
I think she may be in trouble, actually.
Last I heard, her and Varanya were leading an assault on Muldanodam, the city of the goblins.
I heard that too. But I tried to communicate with her. And she didn't seem to know exactly where she was. She said she was underground, but she didn't know where.
Roll a history check for me.
Okay. $12.
Okay.
Well, I might have it in my notes.
I'm gonna say you do recall that someone had updated you about Brino. There was a small update about Brino. This was a long time ago.
Long time. From Gazalik?
Yes. Zalik did mention that he had seen Brina during his captivity.
Yeah.
He was held captive by the goblins.
He was held captive. I thought she was held captive too.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what, yeah. Okay. Thank you for confirming that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the goblins may have snagged her. I think she might be in captivity right now.
Damn it, Brina.
Yeah.
If she's being held by the goblins, I cannot imagine what they're doing. We have to. I have to save her, Pim. I have to
Well, I
save her.
wanna
I have
help.
to.
I mean, we have a ship now. As long as we, survive this.
I'm worried, Pim. The goblins, there are members amongst their kind who are, well, radical, and again, Pim, I don't want to put you in any kind of danger. I will find your mother. You, my dear, and he kind of rests his hands on your shoulders, very almost patronizing, it feels.
Wait, don't touch my shoulder. Details.
Sorry. Look, I want you to stay here with these companions that you've made. You've all made it by so pretty well thus far, and well, now as the helmsman of this ship, at least you have the ability to get away from things should you need to. You have a means of escape, and I want you to use that. That is why I made you helmsman, Pim. To protect you.
What if I'm not good at it?
Sweet. You're gonna be fine. One, you come from a long line of sailors. Two, you seen the rest of your crew? Who else would it give it to?
Thanks, Dad.
Can I hug you now? Yeah,
let me put my stuff down. Okay. Wait, I have one more question while we're hugging.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember who put you under that powerful charm effect and why they wanted to attack the Aarakocra?
Well, it's a bit fuzzy. What I remember actually is, well, it all started with a dream. Actually, I was in bed, I was camping out, and my dream was interrupted by your friend Cress.
Oh yeah.
Shortly after that, I was ambushed by some lizard folk. The Kiguana tribe found me. They had intended to bring me back to Varanya when we came across a city that appeared in this. When we came across a city that wasn't supposed to be there. Within that city, we found a tower, and before I knew it, we were trapped in the city by unrelenting storms. And that is when I came in first contact with, well, the cult of the Howling Gale.
Wait, who's we?
Myself and the lizard folk.
Oh.
I say we like we were companions when really it was more of a prisoner-captor sort of situation, but we essentially one ambush into another, and by a happy accident, I ended up becoming enchanted. They are relentless, those people. I do worry, because their actions seem to be opening a gateway to the elemental plane of air. And, my darling, any sort of opening into one of the elemental planes can be catastrophic for our world. But one thing at a time. First, I will find your mother, then I will deal with the dragon, then I will close an elemental plane, a gateway to an elemental plane.
Easy.
You, my dear, in the meantime, will stay safe with your friends after we deal with these people. You said you found the Frog Grove. The Frog Grove is well protected. It is a closely kept secret. I'm sure if you stay there, you'll be safe, especially with this ship, should you need to escape.
Yeah, we'll consider that.
Maybe I should have a talk with your captain. I guess it's not entirely up to you.
I tend to be very persuasive in our planning. So
You tend to be very persuasive in general, mind you.
Hey, I learned it from you. Anyway, just saying, if there's anything I want, I usually get it, because you showed me how to get what I want.
I'm proud of you. He says, and he squeezes you just a little bit more. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Dad.
And after I find your mother, the three of us will sit down and we will clear the air between us, okay?
Is there anything else I should know about these inheritors? I mean, what would happen if I reached out to Grandpa?
Well, if you reached out to your grandfather, knowing him, he might not even believe you if you said you are who you say you are. Or he will try very, very hard to find you. And I worry that he will use you to, well, manipulate your mother. Little does he know, he doesn't really need to. And she's living up to his expectations after all. But that is between your mother and I.
All right. Well, thanks for telling me all that. I'm glad you feel like you can trust me. I appreciate that.
He whispers and he says, I'm glad. No idea how worried I was.
My friends do a really good job of protecting me. And I them. I really like them, Dad.
They seem a good sort. I know Luna is, always been a promising young woman. And, well, the other two, at the very least, seem, well, brave.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still figuring them out, you know? But
Looking
they're
at
good
them, my
people.
dear, they are too.
Aren't we all?
So,
What do you think of this? Does this look good? And we'll just kind of like look over the design and
that's where I think we'll leave these two off as they kind of check over the design and they're, fiddling with it a little bit. It seems to be working pretty well here.
testing,
Right?
yeah.
Testing, it seems to be all right. Let's see how it goes under pressure. Okay. Luna. We left you on the bow of the ship, looking out over... I can do a little change of music here real quick. We left you on the bow of the ship, looking out towards the horizon, and you can see it still. It's getting closer. It's more obvious now. That speck. You can see it is something floating in the sky. As you get closer, it's easier and easier to make out what it actually is. What's going through your mind right now, Luna?
My heart's beating pretty quickly. I'm just saying some old sayings from when I trained to calm it down. Thinking, was there a flaw in my plan anywhere?
As you have these thoughts and that anxiety grips you, you become aware that there is someone looking at you from behind, that there's the presence observing you, and you feel this sense of judgment and pressure.
And I will slowly turn around, hands on my rapier because of this feeling.
You turn around and you see, standing on the deck of the ship, an elven woman in very rich, glamorous robes, a sword similar to that make look like a katana at the side. And you just see these cold eyes watching you, and the face as it looks at you, and the anxiety kind of continues to set in as your heartbeat picks up. There's a smirk, self-satisfied smirk at seeing you uneasy, satisfaction.
I've been thinking about this moment. I've learned a lot from when we last met. I've met friends who are strong enough to survive, stick around. And I'll pull out my rapier and say, no longer will I fight for vengeance, but I will fight for the justice and that you so righteously went against. And I'll take a step, well, just before taking a step forward, I'll ask, why did you leave me when I needed you most?
Step forward. Are you assuming a stance or are you attacking?
Let's just say it's just like standing straight, swords just to the side, so I haven't stepped forward just yet.
The individual keeps the eyes locked on you. That same expression of of amusement, almost, of judgment. Turns, kind of shifts on the heel, and assumes a similar stance, almost like a stance ready to receive you, but does not move to draw the blade. As she stands there, waiting for you, measuring you. What do you do?
Fine. Look down on me as much as you want. Relish in your amusement. But I am better. I was chosen. Lunasra chose me. And I'm starting to feel... trying to calm myself down. And I will, as I'm dashing, I'm about to take a step forward to dash. And I'll say, death can have me when it earns me. And I'll go in for...
Okay. Roll an attack roll.
You know what? This is typical D&D, right?
Oh no.
You come up with your phrases and stuff, and then you roll a natural one. But I'm going to use an
Oh, no.
Okay, good.
inspiration on that.
Good.
And I'm going to use commune's dice, because it worked before. That is a... well, slightly better. 12.
And 12. You step forward with the strike, right? And as the blade kind of whistles through the air, you strike forward. She steps to the side, still not even drawing the weapon. Kind of deflects it with the hilt, right? And you feel that as she kind of steps in past you now, gliding a hand along your shoulder and pushes outwards. You feel this force just kind of throw you to the side, and you kind of hit the railing of the ship. And she kind of she moves again to take a stance, looking down at you. And everything about her just seems amused at your attempt of the attack. And as you kind of press up against now anger boiling inside you, roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Constitution saving throw. Rolled a 19 for 21.
21 is really good. So what happens here is you square up again with her. Your eyes lock, and in your head, the blood pounding in your ears, and you feel this hunger, this heaviness in the pit of your belly, and you feel this urge, this violence brewing inside of you. And she looks towards you, seeing this rage kind of now, and this hunger, this deep yearning and desire in you, steps forward across the deck in very calm steps towards you. She'll be there in a second. You have an opportunity to take another attack, but she is now approaching, eyes leveled with yours. Blade undrawn, but hand kind of gliding up along the leg as though she will draw it. She might draw it, but she's approaching.
I'm going to lean forward and dash, and in my one moment of clarity, I'm gonna feint a sword attack. So feint it and go with my other hand and cast Firebolt.
Oh, clever. All right. Roll an attack roll, spell attack roll for me.
That is a 24 to hit.
24 to hit.
Yeah, I rolled a 16.
Nice. Yeah. So you rush forward. The blade kind of glides through the air, and you know how to make a feint for this person. This is not your first duel, and you know that in order to sell a feint here, it needs to be just at the edge. It needs to be almost the kind of strike that if it were a lesser warrior, it would actually hit, right? But against a warrior of the caliber that you were facing, that feint is successful as you kind of glide down, spin, and underneath the armpit, underneath the kind of the hole through the arm, the firebolt shoots out. And with a 24, you stand on the other side, and the specter is gone. You stand there, the fire having gone through, and just as that struck, you felt a moment of like, yeah, that was a solid hit. You felt like if this was a duel, you'd have gotten her there.
She was like, told you I was better.
Roll a perception check at advantage for me.
That is a 13.
13. I'll also kind of pair your keen mind with this too for a little bit of an adjustment here to the roll. As you're kind of straightening up, and you go to draw your blade, you catch a brief whiff of the scent of blood. You catch just that smallest trickle of iron in the air. And you recall that there's actually still the body of one of the cultists that was overthrown over the side of the ship that hit the railing and landed on one of the platform below. That body is still there bleeding out on the side of the ship there.
Okay.
Can I have the rest of the group just take their headsets off for just a moment, please?
Facing this current state where I am, that I it's been quite some time.
That hunger.
Is anyone else on the bow with me?
No, the deck is clear at the moment.
I'm gonna see what I have. I will just take one look around. I'm going to go towards the body. Hopefully, no one sees me going down there.
Okay. I would say roll a stealth just for shits and giggles here.
Stealth was pretty good, so I think 23.
Okay.
And just considering what just happened, that this may have just helped me get my first point ever on by Leia. That succumbing to my desires, I will take I'll try and see if I can get any blood in one of my empty vials.
Okay. We'll roll a survival check. Yeah, you can easily collect some.
16.
Yeah, 16 easily. You're able to get some in there for sure. You're able to kind of press it up against the wounds and squeeze the tissue. And as you do so, it kind of seeps in. And there is again that your mouth water, saliva kind of building up in your cheeks.
Take a look up at the ship.
Yeah, you're like over. You're currently
I'm
like
over.
the side. Yeah, no,
It's
it doesn't
just
appear.
The nerves are kicking in.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Yeah, 15.
Seems clear.
If this is what I must do, I'll drink the vial.
The vial or the body? From the vial?
I'll drink the vial, yeah.
Okay.
Have a clean amount.
Yeah, you knock it back and kind of warms your throat, right? It's still just a little bit warm. You haven't been traveling too long. It's kind of slice on your throat. Your hunger is sated. You feel refreshed. You feel like you just had a taste of something that you've been missing,
longing for a long time.
Longing
Yeah.
for. Additionally, you feel kind of like these strange flashes. You see, as you drink, there are thoughts, stray bits of information about this individual. You're not totally certain about the nature of your affliction here, but when you drink, you feel a sense of connection between the individual and you at the moment. And as you drink, you become aware that this individual knew some magic, knew some bases of magic. And roll an Arcana check for me, please.
Money. Natural 20 for 28.
With the 28, you learn the following spells.
Oh, snap.
You learn Dust Devil
Uh-huh.
and Gaseous Form.
That is awesome.
You can add those to your spell book.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna try and have my cake and eat it too. Could I try to squeeze any more blood?
Yeah. I would say with the 16 you can. Or you roll a stealth check for me.
16.
Okay, 16 is fine. You're able to collect, right? Another, we'll say, wow, 4 vials.
And I'll storing them. There's like clock, storing them in my backpack, and I'm gonna like push the body off and go back up.
All right, let me get the rest of the crew back in. You on Discord? Message them to come back in. Anna, come back in! We get Max's attention. This is gonna do him next. Unless Lycus, you have anything you'd like to do? Because Luna, you're on the deck of the ship, and you can go wherever you like, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you go afterwards? Anyone wants to just post in chat and let Max know we're back.
I think I'm gonna go just investigate check out the air cannons, look at the runes, just to have it in my mind.
Sure. Okay.
Think about what just happened.
Yeah, there's a couple things I'd like to do just around the ship.
Well, let's do you then while Max is noticing still. So, what are you up to, Lycus?
So, well, first I want to explore a little bit, check if there's anything, if there's anyone locked up in the brig or anything like that.
There's no one locked in the brig, but you do come across a very haggard, tired jackrabbit who has moved all the cultists to the brig by himself. And he looks at you all and he is like, well, don't worry, Captain. I got him.
Wonderful. So I'm
you're
not
on
sure.
So real quick description of like where you're at. You are down below in like the steerage deck. So like this is the deck. This is the third deck down, right? It's quite spacious, right? Not a lot of things kept in here. The odd barrel, crate, empty chests, maybe a few more rope. But as you are looking around towards the back of the ship, towards the stern, you see there are 3 large cells. There are, gated in, right? And at the floor of each of these cells, there's a lever as well. So there's the entrance to the cells, and then just in front of each cell, there's a lever on the floor.
Is there an empty cell?
Yeah, they're all empty.
Cool.
No, sorry. No, they were put 2 and 2 in either cell. So the empty cell would be the third cell towards the stern of the ship.
Cool. The empty one, I think I go over to the lever like, what's this? And pull the lever.
You pull the lever, and there is a and a loud noise as the floorboards are retracted into the ship, leaving a giant hole in the floor. Plus, it kind of is pulled away. So you can imagine that anyone that would have been inside that cell would have been taking a very quick way back to the ground.
Cool.
Well,
We lost Max.
Oh no! Yeah, I think he's just gonna be like, let's close that back up.
And Jack Rabbit looks at you exploring and says, yeah, these elemental airships, they were into some pretty cruel shit, my man.
Yeah. Although that would be surprise for sure.
Well, it sounds bad here, right? But over in the elemental plane of air, there is no floor, so you just fall. You just keep going.
Well, I mean, the real problem is landing, so it doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah, but also you just fall in forever. I don't know which one I'd take. Personally, I like flying around, so maybe I take the falling.
While we're chit-chatting, I think I'm gonna start waking up the people. And just making sure they're okay. Just like
Sure.
If they remember anything.
Sure. There are 4 individuals, and as you wake them up, let's see. Of the 4, there is an individual who appears to be like half-elf in heritage. You can see as you kind of move him around. This is one of the cultists. You can see as you move them around, there's kind of like this crazy gnarly scar along the left hand. Green eyes, kind of a shock of dirty brown hair. And he kind of comes to the half elf. Where am I? Motherfucker. Amongst them too is a human individual. These are all of these individuals are male presenting. The human, one of the humans, or 2 humans actually. One human has this kind of rugged complexion, dark skinned. And you can see, it's one of the things you would notice as a sailor, is this individual has calloused hands, looks like an experienced sailor, perhaps. The third individual is also human, lighter of complexion, bald, and you can see 3 piercings along the left ear. And the last individual is a tiefling, very small horns just at the front of the head, smooth purple skin with wavy white hair, and as they kind of come to, you can see there's a little flash of red eyes. And they're all kind of coming to as you kind of rouse them to wakefulness. Where am I?
Well, good morning, everyone. That's complicated. We don't know you, so you're in the brig, but we're on our way to encounter some gnarly people, and we just knocked you all out because you were trying to kill us. Do you guys remember anything? No.
Well, that explains the ringing in my head for certain, says the tiefling.
Yeah, sorry. Knocking out is the easiest way to combat mind control.
Don't say. Well, in that case, I'm somewhat obliged, and I'm also somewhat angry about being in this cell. Is this? Can I be released? Or, I suppose, given the circumstance, you're going to want to know whether or not I'm a threat.
Typically, yes. We're just, like I said, didn't know who you guys are. Just trying to see. Didn't know if all of you were, being controlled, or some of you were on their side. It's hard to say.
Well, for my part, I am not controlled. I'm merely a priest who was caught in the mix of things, and to be quite honest with you, I'm quite glad that I'm not in that cult anymore. Personally speaking, they were pretty intense, and their propensity for wanton destruction and all that, not exactly my sort of thing.
Wonderful. What about the rest of you? You guys, happy to be removed from this cult?
They all kind of look around. They're all kind of nodding, looking at you. The half elf goes, Yes, I am quite happy to not be with them anymore. If you could just open that door, that'd be great. I'd like to not be in here either. And the other two humans are looking around, and the dark skinned one goes, yes, where are we and who are you? It's questions I think both need answering.
Oh, I'm the captain now. Nice to meet you. Lycus D. Stratus. And he pulls his hand through the little bars.
Grips your hand. Captain Stratus, nice to meet you. Doran McKinnon.
Ah, nice name. Very, very piratey. And he just starts.
And he kind of he spits on the floor. Pirates.
Ah, don't we all?
Do not appreciate the comparison.
Well, you're in for a treat. He starts unlocking the door. So here's the deal, everyone.
There's a deal?
Yes. You were all being mind controlled. We saved you, yada yada. You're free to leave. We are not stopping. There are people coming to a place we care about dearly to kill everyone, and we're going to stop them. We would really appreciate your help in the coming combat. We're not asking any of you to board. Stay on the ship. Help us any way you can. And when we land, you're free to get the fuck out. Or you can stay.
And this is, and just to be clear, Captain Stratus, this fight is unavoidable for us. It's either fight, or you said we're free to go, but I recall what kind of ship we're on, so that gets complicated.
Yeah, it does.
So essentially, we're being press-ganged into your service.
Yeah, you don't have to work. You could just sit here and hope a cannonball doesn't hit you. But that seems like not a great way to wait for death.
And if I might be so bold as to ask, why are we fighting, and who are we fighting?
Well, the monarch who took our water and is trying to turn us all into objects of their will. They have some envoys that they have been sending after us and our friends. And that's who we're fighting, the scum and their leaders.
You're fighting the scum?
Oh, yes.
Well, then by all means, lads, I'm in. Let's take it to those bastards. And the others kind of look around and say, well, if I feel okay about fighting and killing anything, it would be the scum. I suppose beggars can't be choosers in this situation. Well, if I don't really have another choice, then I guess I will fight the scum with you. And then you said we're free to go?
Yeah, once we land, once we get this done, you don't have to stick around. But if you want, you could join the married folk.
I'll think about it, but the option of being on solid land, I will admit, it appeals to me.
Me too. Flying is still new. But, it does seem kind of fun.
And considerably more dangerous.
He agrees as he turns around and accidentally hits the lever that releases the bottom of the jail cell. Oop.
They're like, shit.
Whoops. Anyways, why don't you all get back up? In a little while, your new officers will address you soon. Get yourself ready.
Well, that sounds like a plan. If it's all the same, I'm gonna just take a wee moment to myself, and I've got to offer some thanks and praise, whatnot, to a very important figure in my life. Thank you.
You may want to find a fella. His name's Edanor. Big, mostly metal at this point. He's a big god boy. He might be able to help you out in some ways.
Did you say Edanor?
I did say Edanor.
Edanor's on this ship.
Do you know him?
Just pushes past you, and he starts kind of making his way up the ship, and he's just yelling, Edanor! Edanor, where are you? As he's just kind of leaves the rest of you there. The tiefling, I should mention, is this individual who is running up the stairwells and now on the deck, just shouting. Edanor, you are on your way to find a quiet place.
Yep.
There are numerous rooms upon the ship upon which you can find such quiet place. Do you have anywhere in particular that you were hoping to look at, or any conditions that you wanted to satisfy in your search?
Just a room that's kind of tucked away. I don't know. Could be one of the old crew quarters or anything like that. Really, anything
Sure.
that's like a quiet place.
Sure.
That's
Easy enough.
secluded.
You're about to sit down, and I know you normally like lay out your incense and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, that's the game plan.
As you are in the process of doing that, you hear a voice, an unfamiliar voice, going, Edanor! Edanor, where are you? The rest of you could also hear that too.
Pop my head out of the room. Someone calling for me.
You hear footsteps. Pushes out into the center, into the companionway there, and looks around and you see a purple-skinned tiefling with wavy white hair and red eyes, dressed in the robes of the cultists, these kind of flowing robes. An individual who seems unfamiliar to you stands in there and goes, "Who are you?"
My name is Edanor. Are you perhaps looking for another named Edanor?
Looks you up and down, right? As you kind of open the door and step, because your head was sticking out as you kind of open the doorway and step out, and you reveal, your person. He says, "That armor, that weapon, and that shield, they belong to Edanor. You're not Edanor."
I am. Maybe not your Edanor. Granted, I did land, and I guess I did land inside a church, a fallen city. And the individual had died fighting the scum, I presume, and I requisitioned their equipment.
You looted my brother.
Did not loot. His equipment went on to continue my holy duty.
Your holy duty. Who are you?
I am Edanor.
You're not Edanor.
I'm not your Edanor, but my name is Edanor. It is possible that
Stumbles back.
two people are named the same. I'm devoted to Tazarin.
Big time out. I just want to go above table real quick.
Yep.
When you found the armor, you said that it was inscribed with the name, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
That was the name you
That's
adopted.
what I'm sticking to my guns here.
Okay. I'm just clarifying that we both remember that. Okay.
Oh, I very much remember. I'm like, oh no.
You said that he was yelling, so like.
Yeah, like the rest of you can
Yeah, can we follow along, or can I follow along?
if you want to.
Yeah, I'll pop out. Just
Yeah,
walk.
Pim and Brock are standing on the stairs looking down. Jackrabbit, Lycus. I imagine Luna's. I don't know.
Love me some drama.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gaslighting.
He's looking at you and he goes, "Where's it? What'd you?"
Were you a part of the adherents of that church?
I was one of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers.
Devoted to Erna.
Indeed. He holds up his wrist, and you see a amulet on a chain hanging at the wrist, and you see the symbol of a sparrow, an emblem of the sparrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a devoted follower of Edanar.
Yes.
Where Okay. So Edanor is dead then?
Unfortunately, your Edanor has fallen.
Why would
Fighting, it presumes.
Why would you?
I had to fight the scum.
But to take his armor, but even his name. Why?
Take his name. It is possible for two people to have the same name.
He looks around at the rest of the group that's kind of gathering, and he's like, Does this make sense to any of you?
Well, do you just hear a bunch of,
I mean, I've heard dumber things, but that is a big coincidence. Edanor, big air quotes. I'm just.
Edanor? Did you just take that name because it was on the shield?
What are you talking about?
Isn't it inscribed?
Edanor, you're intentionally trying to be deceitful here, so I think we need deception check.
Sounds good.
And anybody
Takes
who would
one
like
to know one, Edanor.
Actually, I got a really good roll on that, so it's a 22.
Yeah, I didn't detect it. I rolled a 9.
I rolled pretty good, but I didn't detect it.
Wow, how convenient that the first shield that you find when you wake up has your name on it. Amazing.
I thought it was God's will.
What am I
Love the
rolling for?
gods.
Insight.
Insight?
Against a 22.
Against a 20.
No, I think it's impossible for you.
Yeah.
I think he's outlined us all.
I didn't get it.
You got
Oh,
You got 26?
I have a
Right.
+6. I have 17 on the die. That's 23.
23.
Ooh.
I forgot
Oh!
insight was wisdom. I forgot.
You are the only one that knows that Edanor is being deceitful.
Oh, Edanor. I don't think the gods like it when you lie like that.
I do not know what you speak of.
Oh, come on. Don't get me wrong. I didn't have a name either. I understand. Just
Pim will
sometimes you
go up to the tiefling and say, "What's your name?"
My name is Tamarisi.
Tamarisi? I'm really sorry for the loss of your brother. Would it make you more comfortable if we called our Edanor like Eddie or something?
Nori also has a good ring to it.
Nori?
Seems
First nat 20. Yes, that would make me feel much better, actually.
All right. Eddie? Nori? Whatever.
I don't
Which
know
do you
if I'm
prefer?
comfortable with.
My old captain used to
Edanor?
love eating nori.
I'm gonna try to like lightly use like a light scolding tone and like give him a
Oh no,
You know.
sure. Eddie will be fine, I guess.
Cool.
To assist our guest. So
that's very nice.
we
of
can
you.
have further discussion separately
Fine.
if you would
Look.
wish.
how about,
Listen,
how about
Dan, just say sticks and stones. Okay, Dan? Hi,
Dan.
Dan.
Danny boy.
how about this? Okay. Keep the name. But at least give me back his shield. It was his most prized possession.
Not the censor.
At least
Ah.
Interject
I
here.
understand I'm at a disadvantage here. It seems I owe you and your companions my life,
Well, how about
but
this?
I
How
need
about
to do
this?
right by my brother.
Yes,
Totally
well,
understand.
perhaps we can address that after the coming engagement.
I have a feeling this is the best candidate that your brother would want to pass on his equipment to.
And I'm gonna be beginning to undo my shirt, showing the
The 10 pack.
yeah, showing the 10-pack.
Brock gradually kind of like nudges Pim.
It's like it just seems like it's infinite. I just keep counting. Just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Is this the time for that? As he's fully shirtless.
I'm showing my tattoo. The from which, because typically you don't see Edanor with his armor off or shirt off, but it is the sparrow with the expanding wings, because he also has the tattoo on the back with the wings. So it's on his chest of the outlined in purple, but it is the sparrow of Edanor.
You are a follower of Heroes.
Yes.
I think Edanor will bring great honor to your brother's name.
I need a minute.
Yes, when you have your moment and you wish to speak
You look.
more specifically, we could speak separately.
I think that'll be fine. Thank you all. Excuse me. My apologies.
I'm gonna
Sorry, what was his
make
name
myself
again?
modest
I didn't
again.
type it out.
Temerity.
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 That's all I'm
Timmy! So, Timmy, would you like to talk?
Well, Timmy's gonna just kind of slink off and just kind of struck with the realization that his brother's dead and
Aw, buddy.
all his swag is now, but also mixed, right? I mean, this is clearly a very devoted individual. So
very devoted. Very.
Wow, Eddie, I can't believe you stole a man's clothes and his name. Good on you.
We will speak
Luna.
later, Lycus. We'll have another conversation, a stern one. Anyways, we must continue on with this.
Yeah, Luna, we're just about done with this little device. Would you mind taking a look at it and just making sure everything looks right?
I could take a peek. I would usually trust your work, but let's see.
High stakes today, you know?
I can't be too certain.
I'm gonna say Edanor is back in his room, about to pray. Lycus and Jackrabbit are with the other chuckleheads. Pim, Luna, and Brock are back in the stateroom taking a look at the device. Luna, let me just get a quick investigation from you.
Oh, let's go.
No assisting allowed.
Not as high as I thought. 17.
17 is still higher than the DC that they originally set when they made it, which was 14. So you can tell, Luna, as you're looking at it, there is a spring on it, right? That just seems a little worn, perhaps, right? It looks like it's holding up right now in testing, but it does look like it could be a weak point, perhaps like under pressure of the actual event and operation. If it's installed incorrectly, you see that spring could get jammed and either possibly keep it from opening or cause it to open sooner than expected. It's hard to say. It could go either way.
Then I'll do
either way, it's an uncertainty.
So I'll communicate then. Perhaps this one point right here, you want to reinforce it, just so we have there's less of a variable for it to go off when we least expect it.
Okay, sure, I can fix that.
Arcana.
I go back to it.
Good job overall.
I would say, yeah. So Pim, you can either, I would say you guys are about most of the way there. You're close. You're coming in close. Yeah. So you can either take the last, let's say, 15 minutes or so to fix it without a roll, or you can roll for it and earn some time.
Nope, I'm gonna take 15 minutes to do it right.
Okay. Taking that 15 and you're gonna do the thing right. The last few minutes as we're getting closer to the thing. Let me do Edanor, because we haven't done Edanor in a while. So let's do Edanor. You are setting up your stuff in your room. What do you do?
I'm going to try and reach my meditative state, very much disrupted by this meeting of this individual, and I guess some decisions that Edanor has made are coming back to roost. So Edanor is reaching out. Tassarin, I need some guidance. This incessant emptiness is killing me. I don't with everything that has been happening. I feel just need guidance. I am always here to provide guidance for others, but in this time I require it. Sorry, the music change threw me off. I believe it is time that I tell the entire crew. I believe I'm going to move forward with it. Unless there's some other intervention that you say I should not. But please watch over us in this endeavor. Give me a sign that you're there. I hope for it. I strive for it. Waiting upon your guidance. And then I'm going to close it with that. With my other ritualistic statements as well. That is a 7.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a seven doesn't make it. In terms of some things that could. But I will say, in this state, in this place, your mind, your essence reaching out to something. You don't so much as reach as you receive in this scenario. You hear a voice, you hear whispering. It's just coming out in pieces. You can't quite hear like full phrases, but you're hearing. Please, my Lord Edanor. I've been lost. I've been stumbling in the dark. And I need a light. You are my light. You hear. I don't know what to make of this individual who calls himself who carries the name of my brother. And I am uncertain on how to proceed. I ask you to give me some sort of guidance here, my lord. As you hear now a voice familiar to you, as you hear a prayer of someone praying to Edanor.
Is there any response that I can do, or is it just I hear it?
You hear it. And I'd say it's not hard to figure out who might be the source, right? So you can respond in person or something, but you are aware of this. And as you hear it, you feel that itching in your palm. Left hand.
The dot is?
The dot. As it kind of just makes your skin crawl. As it feels like something is... I mean, you look at it and it's totally normal. But you feel it just at the edge of where it is. Almost like that itch. A little bit of like almost like a burn. Almost like something kind of crawling beneath the flesh.
Okay.
And you finally hear the last thing. I await your guidance, Lord Edanor. What was shall be again. And the prayer signs off.
Okay. I think I'll spend the rest of the time just kind of going over to Timmy.
Okay.
And gonna try and talk to him at some point.
Yeah. You will say you find him. You leave your room, right? And you kind of make your way through the ship. It takes a little bit, but you're able to find him before the battle. And as you walk, this isn't the only prayer. Actually, as you're walking through and you're getting closer, you start to hear that he's picked up. He didn't just do one prayer, but he's doing like a series of prayers, right? And each time he asks for guidance, right? He asks for something. You feel that sense of longing for something, a sense that you cannot help but feel mirrored in your own search for guidance. And you find Temerity, in one of the forward chambers, one of the forward crew chambers, with a similar setup to yours. Candles, makeshift, not nearly as like properly done, but you can see there are elements of this that are like you may do with what you could find. Kneeling, and in his hand is a silver sparrow amulet that he is devotedly praying into. As you enter, he looks up, goes, excuse me, if you don't mind. Gesturing
yes, I heard you. I'm gonna close the door behind me.
I'm sorry, I thought I was being quiet. I didn't mean to disturb you.
Oh no, I heard you. I should be... This is going to be mildly confusing. But you asked for a sign, and I am here to provide it. I may not be everything that you're looking for, but I was there when the monarch attacked the gods. Tazarin saved me, and I don't want to go overly explain, but I ended up falling to this plane. When I landed in the church where your brother, Edanor, had fallen, at the time, since I landed abruptly and was missing some of my memories, that was the simplest name I could take at the time. But as memories have come back, I've started regaining some of my power. I am the one you pray to, in another form than I was previously. But I am Erenar, and I did hear your call. Because what was once shall be again.
Roll a persuasion check.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Roll a persuasion check at advantage. Yeah, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never sure with pauses, like, do I cue or?
Yeah.
So we got to play in person. All right.
That's a 18.
Sorry, if you had anything else, please.
Oh yes, and I was just going to say, I hope you can forgive me for the transgression. And I can certainly provide the shield after this next combat, so you may properly mourn your dead. And I know it is a lot to meet a revered member of the Pantheon. And please keep it between us. Not everyone is aware of this fact. But I felt that I owed you the truth.
Leans back, sits on the bed, goes, I have no reason to believe you, but I find that I do. If you are Erenar, if you are the Lord of Sorcery, the God of Sorcery and Magic, What are you doing here? Why are you here?
Well, in the battle, I was saved by Tazrin, sending me to this plane so I may continue the fight against the Monarch. Because we lost. Many perished, I'm not sure who's left. I have not been able to contact or get a sign from Tazrin myself. It is not... It's not a reason to lose hope. I'm still here. But I am not at my full ability. Because my original form was destroyed in the combat. And one of my alicotes allowed me to use their body to continue the battle. There's a lot more that comes with it. I don't expect everyone to understand. But at this time, I'm pulling together companions to take the fight to the Monarch and regaining my strength as possible. I know it's a lot. I don't expect you to believe me. But I understand.
I am a devoted follower of Edanar, and I am an esteemed member of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers. If my faith is being called, then I will answer. I will do what I can, my lord, to help you in your endeavors.
Thank you.
And he holds out his hand and he presents to you the symbol, the amulet that he had in his hand that he was praying into.
And I'm going to grab his hand and curl the symbol over. Keep this. I appreciate your offer. But in the case that we are separated, I cannot promise that I can communicate back if something is wrong with the weave. But potentially, I may be able to hear your prayers. And
My
again,
lord.
Discretion is of the utmost at this point.
Very well, my lord. If that is your wish, I will do as you command. I will aid in this battle as best I can.
Thank you. And also, know my lords when we are with the crew.
Very well, my lord. Dan? Was that what they decided?
I guess we can go with Dan, if that's easier.
If you do prefer the name, I think my brother would be honored to know that you were the one carrying that title.
It is not going to cause you distress. It may be simpler.
No, my lord. It will give me a sense of honor.
Thank you.
Would do my entire Brotherhood of Sorcerers honor for you to carry his name.
I appreciate it, and I will attempt to bestow every honor possible upon this name. For it will be Edanor that will be remembered and revered for the actions that have happened. I do not wish these actions to be enshrined to myself. But it would be good to have them enshrined to a devoted brother that has fallen.
It's very kind of you, my lord.
This entire apocalyptic nightmare has been an eye-opener for us all. That is for sure.
With that, the two of you can continue, some conversation if you'd like. You can learn about the Brotherhood of Sorcerers if you'd like. But we can move on.
Yep.
Unless there's anything else?
Oh, I think that's kind of the gist of it. I figure we can chat a little bit about that other things, but we can figure that out later.
Yep. Lycus, you had a couple things.
Yeah, there was just one other thing, really, that I need to worry about, and I don't think any of this is really going to work, but I want to go up to the sensor at the center of the of the ship, and just kind of touch it, and I don't know if you can hear me, Oka. I believe that was your name. I don't know exactly how this works, but if you are here, if you can think, if you can feel, I would love if you would join our crew. Would you like to be part of the merry folk? And then I see if there's any response.
Roll a persuasion check.
Hell yeah. Persuasion. 17.
That's exactly what I was going to say was the DC. With a 17, you speak into the sensor and you place your hands upon its side. You feel there is a hum. There is, with your insight and being a fairly insightful individual and wise to some extent, you are aware that there is a consciousness, a sentience to this object. Something dwells within it. And there is, at the end of your request, there is a soft green glow that kind of holds and hums in your hands. And Lycus, you smell something that you had not imagined you would be smelling for a while, and that is the smell of like a salty sea, the smell of the ocean. You, being a sailor who's traveled around the world, one of the strange things that you've experienced that is highlighted to you now in this moment is the sense of the different winds, the north winds, the south winds, easterlies, westerlies, the different air currents that kind of mingle, and the elements that exist along the coast that a sailor comes to know like family. And those scents reach you, and there is an acceptance.
Welcome to the crew. Your first day is going to be a doozy.
All around you, the gems light, and the ship surges forward through the breeze. There's a long whistle, and your cloak is being whipped around you as you look out, and up ahead of you is a most disturbing sight. A curled spiral shell, large and tall. At the front of the ship are long, a collection of writhing tentacles that kind of extend outwards and twist forward as the ship is now, as this strange alien craft that you've seen something similar before is making its way north, and it is just ahead of you. My friends, you are just upon this vessel, and soon you will be leading an assault upon this vessel, and we will resolve that after we come back from break.
Oh boy.
Right, here we go.
It's
Oh boy!
Oh my god.
All right. Good job, guys. There's some good RP there. Some good fucking RP. I definitely have a quote for Edanor's character intro. There was a moment in there where he was like, in that last one, he says, "I am Aranar, da 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 da," and there, it was really well said. I was like, yeah, that's the one. That's why we're doing this. We got that one. So this episode definitely has one for Aranar. It's got a lot of good stuff for everybody, actually.
I was not planning on running into somebody that
was
would have
awesome.
known Edanor. And of all the people that calls me on my lie, it's got to be freaking Lycus.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, it lines it up for. Oh, by the way, everyone else knows, but you you
You're
now.
fucking lying, friend.
You think you're hot shit. Well, guess what?
Right.
Stretch, get coffee. When we come back, let's say 10 minutes.
Yep.
That's good.
We're doing it. All right.
Hello everybody, it's Lycus here, and as I'm sure you've noticed, the video is almost over, despite the fact that at the very beginning we said this was the last episode. It is not. It was too long, so we had to cut it up into two pieces so we could edit it a little bit easier. So this episode ended up being a bit of setup and preamble, a bit of character moments and downtime, as we are preparing ourselves for the big climactic battle at the end. That's going to be coming in 2 weeks. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you're excited for the next one. And despite everything we said already, there's actually going to be one extra episode after the next one, a sort of epilogue for everything that's happened in Arc 1, where we get to have a little more downtime in the Frog Grove, a little setup for the next arc, and some wrap-up, some tying of loose ends, if you will. So, hope you're excited for all of that, and see you next time.